goddamn if this book did not give me the bluest balls in the entire world. Hey guys, what's up? It is Kirsten. Welcome back to my channel. Today is finally another episode of Rant or Rave, and we're going to be discussing House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I just want to be transparent from the start that I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. So, yes, this is going to be a rave. But that doesn't mean I don't have things to rant about. It's just that the majority of the things I have to talk about are raves. So I'm going to divide this into 2 sections. The first part is going to be non-spoiler, so if you haven't read it yet, you can watch up to that part. And the second half is going to be spoiler-filled. I have a lot more to say in the spoiler section because I just need to. I literally have a Word document in front of me, just scenes I need to talk about, or at least just be like, oh my god, about, because isn't that what this community is for? Let's just dive right in with some non-spoiler raves. One of my favorite parts about this, and I feel like it's what Sarah J. Maas does really well, was the relationship. The progression of Bryce and Hunt's relationship was just really believable and realistic. It is a slow burn, but it was exquisite. The sexual tension was so good, just the slow burn of it all. I have highlighted in my notes the first time Bryce makes a note about Hunt's looks, and I'm like, oh yeah, here we fucking go. And then 400 pages later, we're still not there. Like I said, I just feel like it was really realistic especially because it's a fantasy book. I just felt like it was pretty realistic for their predicament. I also really liked Bryce as a character. I have not read the Throne of Glass series, so I can't compare that. But I have read ACOTAR, and just in comparison to Feyre, Feyre is kind of grating. And I've seen some people say that Bryce is kind of similar, the I don't need a man, but there's a man guarding her. But I didn't get that vibe at all. I actually felt like she was a really good, strong, independent character, specifically without being annoying, because I feel like that happens with a lot of books whose authors try to write the characters strong. They just come off annoying because that's all they talk about is how they are. But this, one of the things I liked about Bryce was how much she didn't care about what other people thought. Instead of saying over and over again I don't need a man, or blah, 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 she just showed it. Her actions portrayed that she was actually that. It wasn't just a bunch of BS. And when people held this caricature of her in their minds, about how she was a party girl, she didn't care. She almost kind of fed into that, believe what you want about me, because in that case they're also underestimating her, specifically Hunt. He goes in thinking that she's this party girl, but she's not, and he's shocked. So I just really thought she was done well. Another thing I liked about this book were the side characters. Again, in comparison to ACOTAR, I feel like they were just really fleshed out better and less of caricatures and actually characters, if that makes sense. Am I using the word caricature correctly? I don't know. I feel like you get the vibe I'm going. You get what I'm trying to say. I felt like they were characterized really well. There were smaller sections in the book where a chapter, or just paragraphs, a few paragraphs in a chapter, were told from the perspective of the side characters, and those weren't that strong. I would say they weren't very distinct or unique, but I didn't care because I liked those characters anyway, just because of how they had been characterized through their interactions with our main characters. I really liked Rune, who was borderline main character, but then also his 2 friends, which we get a couple perspectives more towards the end, from their POV, or at least one of their POVs. And was that great? No. But I liked the character and I appreciated it because I knew the character, I liked them, and was interested in what they had to say. I can't get into this without discussing how much I adore Lahaba, the little fire sprite that worked with Bryce in the library at the antiquities place. Like, I love Lahaba so much. Like, here are just a couple of examples. These are my highlights and my notes from my Kindle of where I was like, holy shit, I love this character so much. Like, I just personally kind of, like, related. Like, she's so nosy into everyone's business, lives for the drama of it all, and in the interest of self-awareness, that's me. My non-spoiler rants are pretty short. I just have 2 things, and the second one is going to lead us in to spoilers. But one of my biggest rants was the blue balls this book gave me. I mean, Sarah J. Maas, you know what I expected from you, and you didn't fulfill it. I feel like she's purposefully made that choice, but I'm mad about it. They didn't actually have sex at all. So tell me why I read this book. You can't. And again, like I talked about, like how good the sexual tension was. There were so many times where it was like, they were so close, but then something would happen. Like nothing came easy in this book. Barely anything came at all. And then lastly, I have never felt so fucking betrayed by a book before in my life that I could recall. Like, a goddamn. This is so, I can't say anything because of spoilers, but like, I was literally hurt. Like, I felt so hurt. I had to put the book down. I was like, there's a reasonable explanation for this. It's like, I know, like there's a reason, but I couldn't think of any, and I was too scared to keep reading because I was like, what if there's not a reason? And I spent the first 600 pages of this 800-page book invested in this. For what? So now we're gonna get into spoilers. So be aware. Give you 5 seconds. So obviously what I'm talking about here is Hunt buying the synth. Bro, I was so fucking hurt. And he kept trying to like, well, no, like, you don't understand. But like, even as he explained it, I was like, no, like, this does not absolve you of anything. Like, you're actually still a piece of shit. I was so pissed. Ooh, man, I was so pissed. And it felt like a Tamlin situation where, like I said, I spent 599 pages invested in this relationship, in this book, in these characters, just for them to be awful. I was pissed. I was so pissed, bro. I was so mad. I'm still mad. I don't forgive him, honestly. Like, I'm side-eyeing Hunt for the rest of this series, because I don't trust you. So, obviously, we're just going to, like, go through the rant. Spoilers first, and then we'll get into the raves, which are extensive. You know, we got Hunt, then he is taken, punished by Micah, given to Sandriel, and when Bryce finds out, Fury tells her, do not do anything stupid. And then this bitch says, I told her I wouldn't do anything stupid, but I never told her I wouldn't do something smart. And that's when you know she's about to do some dumb ass shit. And she does. Tries to buy Hunt. And I was like, okay, like that actually, like that makes sense. That borderline smart. And then she offers the Archesian, however the fuck you say it, amulet, that literally everyone told her, don't take that off. Never take that off. That is so protective. Never take that off. So she takes it off and gives it to Sandriel on top of the check. I was so mad. I was like, again, literally everyone who knows what that is, knows what it does, has told you, do not take that off. And what do? Bitch, you take it off. What? And I really actually liked, like, her motivation for going Because, you know, he's obviously, like, betrayed a huge part of her, so it's like, why would she go and, like, try to save him? But, like, she talks through her thought process where she's like, I've lost so many friends already, like, I'm not going to lose another friend. And that was actually, like, really sweet, because I don't think it was her, like, forgiving him for what he's done, but just, like, recognizing, yes, he did this shitty thing, but actually he's still my friend, and, like, I still care, and this punishment is, like, the worst thing that could have ever happened to him, and I'm going to try and help him from that, despite what he's done. So I actually really like that. So then, you know, Sandra laughs in her face, melts the amulet, and then Bryce says, take me. Bitch, what? So that doesn't make any sense to me, especially just talking through her motivations. I was like, what does you taking his place do? What good does that do? Truly, I would like to know. I also think how when Rune, like, pulls the, like, she's my sister, she's my property, which is fucked up, but also thank God, he takes her outside and he's like, do you know what she does to her slaves? And she's like, yeah, it told me. And he's like, then you're a fucking idiot. And Rune, I was so mad at her. And I feel like that did not match her characterization at all. Like, honestly, I think she's smarter than that. Now, let's get into the raves. One of the other things I really enjoyed about this book was that I never saw anything coming. Does that make me stupid? Possibly. But, like, one, I don't really read mysteries. And, like, throughout the book, like, things would happen or be revealed where I was like, I feel like in my subconscious mind, like, I knew this. Like, I knew something was up. I just never knew what. I never knew what was going to happen, which just made it such a fun experience. And I have a list of scenes that I need to discuss because I scrolled through my list of notes and highlights. So that's kind of what some of these are pulled from. So when Hunt goes to the Oracle and reveals that his real name is Orion, again, I feel like there's something to that. But also I was like, I really want Bryce to figure that out and then for her to call him Orion and not Hunt. Because that is Triss and Tobias excellence right there. And I fucking love Divergent. I just wanted that to happen so badly. And obviously it didn't in this book, but I am holding out hope. Okay, also the gun range scene. I talked about how great the sexual tension in this book was. As someone who is made very uncomfortable by guns, I really don't like them. They just, like I said, make me super uncomfortable. That scene was really hot. Just like the description of them just like staring at each other, I was like, holy shit. Like, they're gonna go home and fuck, right? Which they didn't, but I feel like that was written pretty well. And then, again, a scene you already know, I just gotta say, the bathroom scene. The soft tenderness. Bro, I was so fucking emo. I didn't even know what to do with myself. And again, I thought the next morning they would fuck, but apparently it's too much to ask for from Sarah J. Maas. Who would have thought? Also, let's discuss when Bryce, I think it's Bryce to Hunt, says like, I didn't realize how you and I are mirrors. Maybe I'm just a soft, emo bitch, but, like, that's such a beautiful thing to say to someone. That just, like, really punched me in the gut. Also, one thing I super loved about this book was the, like, taking pictures part. Bryce gives Hunt some shit because he doesn't have any pictures on his phone except for, like, the few, I think it's, like, 12 photos that he had to take for evidence. And so then she starts taking pictures with his phone, and, like, throughout this book, like, he starts taking pictures with his phone, and, like, I just thought that was so sweet and so soft. And again, I'm just a romantic bitch. I just really love that. And then when Sandriel went to Hunt in his cell and, like, played the slideshow, I'm gonna put, like, my note and highlight. I literally said, like, I just said this shit hurted. Even as I was so mad at Hunt. Because, like, I just feel like even though he had, like, changed his mind and tried to stop the buying of the synth that night, that was that night. And he still has spent so much time before that, like, lying to and manipulating Bryce. And I was like, that doesn't make up for that. Like, you literally just fingered her hours ago. And you didn't think that, like, that was fucked up? As you cared for her, during that you spent so much time lying to her and hiding things from her, gaining information from her, and manipulating her. Like, it just didn't sit well with me. So I was, like, mad at him still. I still am. But I was like, God damn, that hurt me. Like, talking about the progression of, like, and then, like, the last few photos, like, how he's looking at her, and then she looks up, and then she looks down and smiles, and then yeah. I didn't expect so much soft emo shit from Sarah J. Maas. And then I knew, like, throughout the book, I was like, this med witch lady who, like, Rune uses and was at the scene, I was like, there's something up with her. And, like, thinking about how Autumn King had talked about how he wanted Rune to marry the new queen of the witches. And then, like, I think the first time we meet her, she's, like, mostly interacting with Rune. And I was like, and then she becomes more prominent. I was like, I think she's the queen undercover. And I was fucking right. That's the only thing. That's the one thing I saw coming in this book. And I felt pretty fucking good about myself after that. So this obviously leads into the summit, and how things double hit the fan. That was done really well. Like, the aspect of everyone, like, every powerful being at that summit watching what was happening to Bryce and to the city through the camera feeds, I just really liked it, and it created such an element of tension. Bryce is our only main character in the city. Like, there aren't even side characters. So everyone who you know would, like, go and help her are gone, and all they can do is sit and watch and try to dispatch the people they have in the city to go help her. But they are utterly powerless, and just the tension that created was so good. It was so good, and I loved it. I lived for it. So Micah tries to, Micah reveals a ton of shit. And again, I didn't see any of this coming, and I was just sitting there like, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. And, like, learning that she is the Horn? Like, I never, like, again, I feel like in my subconscious, I knew something was up with the tattoo, because she talked about, like, how weird it was, and, like, how it was in this alphabet, like, no one knew. But, like, I never thought that, like, one, Danica stole the horn, and two, she had it ground up and put into ink to tattoo onto Bryce's body. What? Why would I ever think that? If you guessed that, you're a fucking genius. I just want you to know. Here, we need to stop and pay our respects to the baddest bitch, the queen, Lahaba. It was at this point in the book that I began sobbing, as evidenced here. This first picture here, I will have more coming, is me crying as I am reading Lahaba's death. I tried filming this a while ago, or like right after I finished it. It was so fresh. I literally started crying while I was talking about it. How she tells Bryce, like, you and Syrinx go, like, let me do this for you. And Bryce blurts out, like, Lahaba, you're free. Like, I bought you from Jasiba. Like, you are free. You don't have to do this. Lahaba was such good comic relief, I just have to say. She's like, I know, like, I peeked in your desk. I was like, fucking classic Lahaba, I love you so much. And, like, again, Bryce is, like, telling her, you do not have to do this. Like, you are free. And Lahaba says, then something along the lines of, like, then let it be known that my first act of freedom was defending or saving my friends. Bro, I am actually tearing up. Yeah, you know, it was just really nice. And I'm really sad about her death. Like, oh my god. So, continuing. She buys Bryce the 2 extra seconds she needs to kill Micah. Which, that was really badass as well. Like, the whole, like, how time slows and, like, how it affected everyone at the summit. I thought that was really cool. So now we're going to get to the second part that made me cry. And that was as like everyone at the summit is freaking out, yelling. They're yelling at Sabine to dispatch her wolves, and she's like, there are no wolves. There are no packs in that area of the city left. And the old grandpa Prime is like, no, there is one wolf left. And Sabine is like, no, that's just Danica's sword you're sensing, blah, blah, blah. And he is like, no, and like points to the feed of Bryce running through the city. He's like, that is a wolf. And he's like, a true wolf. And I was like, I was just so fucking emo. I was emo over Lahaba's death. I just thought about like how much shit Bryce had been through, and like all she had given up, all she had sacrificed, all she had fought for, and then for him to call her a true wolf. Goddamn, that really, especially after specifically the shit the wolves put her through, that Sabine put her through, like fuck them, honestly, truly. And then, you know, Bryce realizing, well, one, that she's starborn. Again, I knew something was up. Where like they talked about how she was powerless. I was like, okay, I don't necessarily think that's true, but I didn't think that she like literally had a fucking star inside of her. And so her using that power, I was like, just holy shit. And then her deciding to make the drop to like have that power to close all of the portals at all of the gates, and like calling out for someone to anchor her, and Danica showing up. Cry number 3. I got really fucking emo really fucking fast. Like, it was just so, I can't explain it. That whole scene, which like I'm going to continue talking about, was just so emotional. Again, thinking about everything that Bryce had been through, how much she loved her friend, how much she didn't know about her friend, how much her friend was like caring for her, like in secret ways before her death, and then how those continued to protect her after. Like, it was just really emotional. And then, you know, people are like, she's not like a real anchor because she's dead. Like, the dead cannot anchor. So Bryce is essentially dropping herself. And I was like, I don't think that's true. Because they had made a point about, like, when I think it was as she was closing the first gate, how things around her started, like, to rebuild and wounded, like, be healed. And I was like, wounded, healed? Hunt's alive. And I knew then that, like, he would essentially become her anchor. You know, when she makes the drop, and, like, the whole aspect of, like, the little drops of magic that everyone, like, had taken from them when they touched that disc, like, being, like, powering her, I thought that was really good as well. And then Danica being there with her and, like, talking her through all these things and, like, encouraging her to, like, keep going, like, go back up. Bryce is running out of time, and Danica finally convinces her to, like, go, but she was like, I don't know, like, I don't think I can make the ascent. And Danica's like, just trust me. And then as they're watching her ascend on the monitor at the summit, and how they talk about the little speck of energy. Oh shit, I might start crying. No, I'm tearing up. I'm gonna try really hard not to cry. Like, next to her, pushing her off and then disappearing. And thinking about, like, how before Sabine had said, like, when she went to talk to the Underking or whoever and, like, knew that there was only, like, a small bit of her energy or, like, power or soul left, I knew, I was like, so, like, that was that. I'm literally crying. Again, was just so fucking emotional after all they'd been through. And, like, her friend who Bryce had missed so much and had, like, given up so much for, to come back and essentially just, like, dissipate, like, stop existing at, like, any level to help her friend. And then how Bryce's dad, the Autumn King, is like, how is this possible? How is she doing this? Her power was too deep. Like, she didn't actually have that much power. She's not going to be able, like, how? And then I think it was the Prime again. Because as he's saying that, and then the Prime starts talking, I was like, through love, all is possible, bitch. You know, I just really liked how a lot of things came full circle. And that's one thing, like, I feel like this easily could have been a standalone, and I would not have been mad if it was. But I'm also not mad there will be more, because I'm really interested to see where this story goes, especially given, like, the epilogue, which we'll get there in a second. Hunt is awake, he's alive, he's coming and is essentially anchoring Bryce, more or less, I would say. Because he wakes up and he sees her there, like, dead, because she's making the drop. And he's, like, trying to resuscitate her, like, giving her chest compressions, zapping her with his lightning. And then, like, he says something around the fact, like, I heard what you said to me, you fucking coward, like, come say it to my face. And that just made me laugh really hard, because, again, like, I feel like that just summed up their relationship really well. And then also when Bryce woke up and she was like, did you just call me a fucking coward? Again, like, I laughed and I was like, I hate them because I love them. I just felt like that so purely summed up their relationship, just like in that moment, and I just really liked it. Let's discuss the epilogue really quick. Jasiba talking to the demon that I can't remember his name, but he comes as the white cat with blue eyes. Anyway, Bryce had summoned him before, so we did meet him, and so that's like how we knew who he was. And they're like talking about like what happened, blah blah blah, and he says something about the fact that Bryce has, like, that's just not a normal Starborn like gift power, but that she has Thea's light. I feel like I vaguely remember them talking about her in the beginning, and how, I don't know if it's the Asteri, if she's one of them, or like the other power, but like they leave a throne empty for her because she died. I think that's who that belongs to, which is really interesting. That's the one thing where I'm just really interested to see where it goes, because I don't know. And then also, how does Jasiba know Hunt's father? Because she's like, what do you think about Hunt? And he says, I think his father would be proud. And she's like, oh, how sentimental of you. And then he says, well, you knew him the best. And I was like, huh? What do you mean she knew him the best? Who is his father? Because I feel like then he's someone important. Like, I have a lot of questions. And I'm excited to find out the answers. I don't know when the next one of this is coming out. Let me look. Holy shit, November 2021. Oh my god, that's actually a long ways away. That's my rant or rave. This is probably kind of pretty long, so if you stuck it out the whole time, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this book. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, because I would fucking love to, like, more in-depthly discuss this with someone and, like, scream about it together. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you're staying safe, wearing a mask, and I will see you next time. Bye!